we're not going to go there anymore. And that's it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay? And you know what? Flex, hit me on email, whatever. It's all good.
All right. And look, you've always look when you were selling nothing, and then you're selling platinum units. We've been the same. So
right.
You've been the same. I've been the same with you. We rocked out. We're going to continue to rock out. Okay?
Okay. Just put up this whole interview until this part right now that we're talking.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Okay. So I've sat here for the past hour and approximately 15 minutes listening to this whole Nicki Minaj and Funkmaster Flex interview. Apparently, backstory. Okay, apparently, Summer Jam, High 97 Summer Jam, was supposed to happen last week sometime, and there were some things said by a radio host on Hot 97, Rosenberg. And if I didn't know about it, Rosenberg is the guy from The Breakfast Club with Charlamagne and the little girl. And if you know anything about Hot 97 and The Breakfast Club, that's one of those comedic, like artist bashing, funny type radio shows. It's a good show. A little rude if you ask me, but it is what it is. So, Nicki Minaj and a couple of other members of Young Money, I'm not sure who, because I don't do Young Money and things of that nature, but we're supposed to perform here at this, at Summer Jam. So, apparently, before she came out, Rosenberg or whoever his name is decided that he was going to make a statement about Nicki Minaj's Starship song. And basically what he said was, just to sum it up, that Starship was bullshit and it's not real hip hop. That's basically what he said. Just to sum it up. So, yeah. Obviously, word got back to Onika's manager, or Nicki Minaj's manager. Her manager said, look, we're not doing the show. Then Lil Wayne, who is the head of Young Money, came and said, look, ain't none of us doing the show. Young Money ain't going to be here at Summer Jam at all. Pull it. So there's this big uproar about her not performing and her fans who are out there want to see her and stuff of that nature and why she didn't perform. So she gets on this radio with this Funk Master Flex man who I just am totally annoyed by at this point right now. And it was, first of all, it was a long, drawn out interview that danced around the same topic. And it was like listening to two females argue. Have you ever heard two women try to have a civilized conversation that it's supposed to be an argument, but they try to keep it civilized? That's what it was like listening to. Because Funky wouldn't let her talk. He was yelling just as loud as she was. Well, she wasn't really yelling. She was doing that little really annoying voice where she talks like this. And she did that for like the entire hour. And I was like so annoyed. But that's how she was talking. And I'm mad I can turn that on and off just that easily. But she went through and she tried to keep it classy. But at some point he just was like listen to me, like scream, like Raspy screaming at the phone type scream. So the whole issue was, why is it that Nicki Minaj did not perform at Summer Jam despite what was said about her? And at, God damn it, I don't know why they sent me this little balance thing on my account. Let me tell you how much money I got in my account. I'm about to tell y'all, it's gonna be funny too. Y'all gonna laugh. Okay, it's the next text message. So anyway, asshole. $1.43. This is a real dedicated, struggling dancer type thing. But anyway, so he basically, I actually in this case stand by Onika's decision because she was in New York or Queens or somewhere. I don't know where they were at. It was somewhere in New York. Her hometown, basically. She was supposed to come out, do her little Starships were meant to fly, maybe Bees in the Trap, something like that. And the energy and morale from a performer, I could understand. The energy and the morale that you have before a performance is like really, really high on adrenaline levels. And the last thing anybody wants to hear before they get ready to go on is some shit about themselves, especially some negative shit about themselves. And for him to say, "Well, look, your album, your song is bullshit, and it ain't real hip hop," and then he listed off these other people who I've never heard of before in my life, who are apparently real hip hop. It was just like a smack in the face. So I stand by the decision to not go on stage. I wouldn't have win either, especially 9 times out, because I looked at the roster of people who are on that set or on that list of people to perform. Yeah, she was right. She dropped stats, and Nicki Minaj was the highest grossed artist on that list, basically. So, if anything, the majority of the crowd who came to see her, and you shaded her at like it was just fuck shit. Okay, let me tell y'all about what went down in the interview. Okay, and before I go into that, let me just talk about this whole Lil Wayne thing, because at this point, I appreciate anybody, who helps people, achieve their dreams, and, gives them like a little palette to jump off of to reach stardom or whatever. But these Young Money people treat Lil Wayne like he was nailed to the fucking cross. And at this point, I'm just like, seriously, I understand he saw something in all of y'all and gave y'all little freedom and y'all recording with him and things of that nature, but this man is not Jesus. He's not. He's fucking not. And it's just like, why? I understand he say jump because he's the head of y'all label and everything. He say jump, you might ask how high, but normally you would just jump. But I asked before I jump. So I understand that, but at some point it's like y'all just like, it's everything I owe to Lil Wayne. Seriously? If you don't have that much potential in yourself to make it without somebody else, then you shouldn't be where you are. That's just that little sidebar. There it is. Okay. Flex won't let her talk. Album sales. Okay, and Flex went into this little briefing about, because Nicki Minaj went into this rant on how many. If I kick this desk one more time, she went into this rant about how many albums she sold, and she went into brief, very, very distinct details on her album sales. And Flex made a statement that I need to address before I end this video, because I'm not going to talk for 10 minutes about it. He said that albums back in the day, like back in the backbacks, before music was what it was now, or entertainment for that matter is what it was, albums didn't sell the way they did back then, the way they do now. They sold less. I agree with the fact that they didn't sell the way they did, but I totally disagree with the fact that they sell less. If anything, back in the moderner days before YouTube and MP3 downloads and iPhones and computers and shit, albums sold more. Why? Because we didn't have outlets to get free music like this. You had to take your ass down to the Coconut store, Coconut Music over in Southgate, for y'all who are from Cleveland. Remember that store? Because I remember that was a big CD store around these parts. And if you lived in Cleveland, you had to come all the way over here to fucking Bedford just to go to Coconuts. Get your little single, get you the cassettes, or sometimes if you want to buy the CD with the single and the 3 remixes on it, they sold more back then. So if she sold this mass quantity of albums now, that says a lot about what she's doing. Apparently, it does, because he made it seem like her album sales were essentially like boo, like your album sales ain't nothing compared to what they would have been back then. You're right, they're not. They would have been way more back then, because you had to actually go out and buy music back then. You had to leave your house and catch a bus, walk, or drive to the store to actually buy music. It wasn't like it is now. So that statement was really fraudulent, and I just had to tell him that. And oh, my arm is just starships are meant to fly. And I like Starships, BTW. It may be a pop song, and the whole issue. Ugh, I'm sorry, y'all. That's rude, but it was some of mine. the entire issue altogether, this was the problem. She felt like, because as of lately, Nicki Minaj has been compared to Lady Gaga, and people are saying things like she wants to break out into this pop world because she's wearing this damn Little Red Riding Hood outfit and walking around with the Pope and doing things that you would normally see from Lady Gaga, and that's bothering to her. And when he made this statement calling her music bullshit and not real hip hop, that was just like the nail in the coffee. If you ask me, that's where from my standpoint, that's where I got it. She just was like fed up. Look, y'all keep throwing shade at me, calling me Nicki Gaga, and I ain't gonna take y'all shit no more. We're not doing the show, and I stand by that decision. I respect it, and she said, and at the end of the day, she said she was going to do another show in New York. It was going to be free for her fans. So with that, she had me. I'm Team Onika at this point because she's making it up to her fans. Yeah, she can perform at Summer Jam, but she's gonna come back and do another show that you won't have to pay for. It's going to be free. So it's a win-win situation. It was just like he sat and tried to break this down to fucking apology. He wanted to get an apology out of her for not performing at Summer Jam. She don't owe y'all shit. Because at the end of the day, had Homeboy, what's his name? Rosenberg, hi Rosenberg. Had you not made that statement about her album, yeah, it's your opinion. I get that totally. I don't like all music either, but hell, I wouldn't get up in front of fucking Beyonce and tell her, oh shit, she about to get on the stage and sing Single Ladies, this bullshit ass song. I wouldn't get up there and say that. And BTW sidebar, that's not how I feel about the song. So the Beyonce stands, don't try it. So I wouldn't get up there and put that morale on that stage. So I don't think she owes anybody an apology. If anything, you owe her the apology. And then if you apologize, then maybe, yeah, she'll yield an apology out of her for not performing. But I wouldn't apologize to shit. You couldn't pay me enough to apologize. Hell no. Kiss my ass. The entire ass. Not happening. Okay. So that's it. I'm done talking about that. I said I wasn't going to do 10 minutes, but it's 12. All right, I'm out of here. I'm going to do something with my life. All right, y'all. Hey. 4 videos in one day. We did good.